We're having fun out here, too. We're glad you can make it for SportsCenter, along with Neil Everett.
Yeah.
I'm Stan Verrett. Warriors got run out of their own building by the Celtics last time out. Then Friday, they faced off with the team chasing them for the top spot in the West.
Yeah, one is not the loneliest number when it's all that separates you from first. Denver just one game back of reigning champion Golden State. So will the Nuggets be moving on up or taking a step back? Golden State just 3-5 in its last 8. Coach Malone, how do you slow them down?
In transition, that's where it starts. Finding most dangerous. You can't all run back to the paint. Got to locate their shooters early.
Well, that's what the coach said. His fellas didn't listen. They turned it over. They had 7 turnovers in the first and 4 buckets. Kevin Durant in transition. Is that anger or joy? Paul Millsap misses. Draymond Green had 6 rebounds in the first quarter. Outlet. Hey, cuz. DeMarcus Cousins. The Warriors running away with it early. Up 18-6. Cousins, the steal. From Millsap. Warriors transition. Durant, anger or joy? Malone, pregame again. What other ways are you going to slow him down, Coach?
The three-point line is not out far enough. You've got to pick him up 2 feet outside the three-point line.
Boy, it all sounds good in theory, but if the boys don't do it, you're in trouble. Cougar goal! Klay Thompson back after missing a couple games. The Warriors were up by 19 in the first quarter. They led 30-20 after one. Denver's second team actually managed to take a lead, and then it was Thompson, Curry, step back, 14-0 run, made their last 11 shots. Andre Iguodala to Durant to Curry to Thompson, Kettle, and fire for Klay Thompson. As Thompson had 27 at the break, the Warriors up 67-50 after falling behind 37-36 third quarter. Curry, Kona deep. It's got to be the shoes. Curry giving the fans a shimmy shimmy. He finished with 17. I just made up that word. Thompson. Kettle and fire again over Mason Plumlee and Klay Thompson. I mean, he was all hopped up on Cougar gold. Klay Thompson, 9 of 11 from 3, 39 points. Klay Thompson was feeling it, man. Left to a standing ovation. This was all Golden State. 122-105.
The game in so many ways. I mean, he obviously had 39 points, but it's his defense too. Chasing ball handlers over those high screens, being physical, using his length and intelligence to make guys uncomfortable. So it was huge just having Klay back. He was amazing. He was awesome.
When it comes to the Nuggets, say a prayer for the pretender. Started the second quarter so strong, only to surrender to Golden State, who now leads the Nuggets by 2. Warriors looking to finish with the best record in the West for the 4th time in 5 seasons under Steve Kerr. Besides claiming a 2-game lead, Friday's win also gives the Warriors a 2-1 lead in the season series. The team meet one more time, April 2nd, circled on your calendar. That one's in Oakland. In addition to having the edge in the standings and in the season series tiebreaker, the Warriors have the easier schedule the rest of the way. All right, if you think we're done talking about the Warriors-Nuggets, you're new to the program. Stephen A. Smith in L.A. talking Golden State.
Sixers in Houston to take on the Rockets. Still no Joel Embiid for Philly. Rockets rolling. NBA best 6-game winning streak coming in. Opening minutes of the game. James Harden stuffed by Ben Simmons, who was a rebound shy of a triple-double. In transition, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, big finish, 22 for Harris, but Harden and the Rockets, not phased. Harden, 3 for 11 from 3, starting to feel it. Can't find a shot here, so he's just gonna dribble it out, oh, and then knock it down. Rockets up by 16 after one, Philly's biggest deficit after the first quarter in 2 years. Oh boy, but then Harden goes down hard. Stayed on the floor. We'll give you another look at what happened. Hit the deck, used his hands to break his fall, grabbed his right wrist when he went down. He would head to the locker room. And those injuries have been such a part of the story for Houston this year with Chris Paul and Clint Capella. But Harden would make an immediate impact after he returned. Final seconds of the first half, working on Jimmy Butler, who was a good on-the-ball defender, but Harden goes right by him. Shakes him with the crossover, and then able to finish. Rockets take a 15-point lead into the break. Harden 11 for 22 overall from the floor. In the fourth, Rockets up 16. Harden give and go, and it's gone. And so are the Sixers. Harden 31, 10, and 7. Rockets extend their win streak to 7 games. Philly 3 for 26 from 3.
Brett said the spirit is still pretty high in here, even after the loss. It feels like you guys are still all together. Do you feel the same way?
No, we're pissed off we lost.
Okay. Got it. 76ers haven't played up to their competition this season. They're now just 7-14 against the top 10 teams in the NBA. The only current top 10 team with a worse record is the team directly ahead of them in the standings, the Pacers. Those teams will meet Sunday in Philadelphia on ABC.
Hey, in the West, unable to do so. 122-105. Pretty much all Warriors in this one, and the star of the night, Klay Thompson, who'd missed the last 2 games with knee soreness. You know, Thompson and Steph Curry are the top 2 in the NBA in catch and shoot threes this season, and catch and shoot for Klay Thompson. 6 threes in the first half. That's tied for the second most threes made in a first half this season. He was on fire from behind the arc, not literally. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to play in the second half. Thompson scored or assisted on 35 of the Warriors' 67 points in the first half. The Warriors were up 17 at the half. Thompson 27 in the first half. Cougar go! 39 for the game, 9 of 11 from 3. Warriors win.
Stephen A. Smith in his West Coast swing, so we had to get him in the studio. And he came in California casual.
Something like that, something like that, something like that.
So I guess we found out that Klay Thompson remains a very big part of what the Warriors do.
Absolutely spectacular performance. 39 points, 9 of 11 shooting from three-point range. That's 81% from three-point range. This is what he does, validating what I've said repeatedly. He's one of the top 5 shooters in the history of basketball, and this is the greatest shooting backcourt we have ever seen in the history of basketball. Steph Curry dropped his 4 3-pointers as well. Kevin Durant dropped 26 points. He averages 27 in his sleep. This is what he does. In the end, what it comes down to is that the Golden State Warriors recognize you want that #1 seed, because what you don't want to do is find yourself in a situation going up against a top 2 seed like they had to go against Houston last year when Houston was #1 and they were #2, and they had to go on the road to the Toyota Center in Houston. In this case, you'd have to go to the high altitude in Denver, Colorado, and they're incredibly formidable at home, not so much on the road. Golden State needed to take advantage of that tonight, and that's what they did.
Steve Kerr was critical of the defense, talking about players jogging back, and it looks like they responded. 38% shooting for the Nuggets. There was a lot of hand-wringing about, oh, well, maybe Portland could beat the Nuggets, maybe Portland could beat the Warriors, maybe the Nuggets could beat the Warriors. I mean, Golden State's still Golden State when they shoot and defend like they did.
Well, when they shoot and defend like this, they're Golden State, they're unbeatable. There's no question about it. But they haven't shot that way consistently. They certainly haven't defended it consistently. Throughout the last 4 years, they've been a top 10 team defensively. This year, they've hovered around 13 to 16. They fluctuated back and forth. Draymond Green was absolutely accurate in pointing out the lackluster effort that they had been given repeatedly. And you know it's a concern when you go all the way to Australia, down under, to grab Andrew Bogut from there just to get him to come back here to be able to have a reliable source defensively. Remember, he's a rim protector. Yep. He's a rebounder and a defender. He's familiar with the system. He's familiar with those players. So bringing him on board gives you that cushion where if DeMarcus Cousins can't give you something defensively, which he probably won't be able to do, you know that you've got somebody to rely upon that can give you what you need defensively along with the rebounding. That's why they got him, as far as I'm concerned, is just a security blanket to another title.
What's wrong with the Warriors? Apparently nothing.
Apparently nothing.
Hey, man, we appreciate you coming by.
All right, like the outfit, though.
Oh, yeah, it looked like you got plans. I don't think that was for us.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Guard Kyrie Irving expected to play tomorrow night against the Lakers after missing Wednesday's game due to a thigh contusion. Irving did practice Friday today, and Coach Brad Stevens said every indication is that the 8-year vet will indeed play. As I said earlier, a pretty big game tonight in the Bay Area as the Golden State Warriors, the defending champions, the 1 seed in the West currently, could be unseated at the top of the conference standings by the Denver Nuggets. They lost by 33 points in their last game Tuesday against Boston. It was their worst home loss in the Steve Kerr era. It was brutal. here's the thing. It wasn't an isolated incident. The Warriors have 5 20-point losses at home this season. Only 2 teams have more, and they're teams that aren't good. The Bulls and the Cavs, they have 2 of the 4 worst records in the league. And defense could be the culprit. Usually, the defense is excellent, but Golden State right now ranks 22nd in defensive efficiency at home. They've never been in the bottom half of the league under Steve Kerr. They also rank a respectable 12th in that category on the road, just FYI. So despite the struggles, our projections still have Golden State as the heavy favorite to get that 1 seed out west. Right now, it's an 83% chance. That's according to BPI, with one of the big factors being Denver's really tough remaining schedule. But Steve Kerr is looking for a strong finish overall.
We want home court. I mean, what I've talked about is health is always the #1 priority, and it will remain so. But it's time for us to turn it up, to lock in, and I think we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our fans, to give them our best stuff over the coming months. And it's been lacking, and it's disappointing. But we got a great opportunity ahead of us to close the season strong and to play well and deep into the playoffs, and it's all right there for us.
Joined now by Stephen A. Smith. We just heard Steve Kerr say it. We want home court. So obviously they won the title last year without home court in the West. So how important is it, in your opinion, Stephen A., for them to get the #1 seed this season, a very different season for Golden State?
Well, I think it's going to be pivotal for several reasons. Number one, it's not just the Houston Rockets that you have to worry about these coming playoffs. The Oklahoma City Thunder are formidable. The Denver Nuggets are incredibly formidable. Even though they're relatively young, they can make shots. They're skilled. And more importantly, playing in that high altitude, there was a reason why they've won so many games on home or at home this year. They've been very, very successful at home. So because of that reality, you're the Golden State Warriors. You definitely want home court advantage for that reason alone.
It just feels very different with the Warriors this season. Even the way Steve Kerr is speaking, it feels different. Let's go down the road, talk about the Lakers. They're 6.5 games behind the Clippers in that 8th spot, and now it sounds like we're not going to see as much of LeBron James. Last night, head coach Luke Walton telling our Dave McMenamin that he will monitor LeBron's workload for the rest of the season. And then a source close to LeBron told ESPN that it's not set in stone. He has the ability to play longer to finish games rather than having a really hard cap on his minutes. And then get this, LeBron has played the most minutes of any player since the All-Star break. We've never seen him, Stephen A., on kind of a pitch count. What do you make of this decision?
Well, I think it's a wise decision on the part of the Lakers. I don't have a problem with that. They're not going to the postseason. We recognize that. And he signed for 4 years at $153 million. You want to make sure that he's here for the final 3 years, ready to maximize whatever potential he may have. But I am interested in seeing how LeBron responds to all of this, what his interest level is in playing. Is LeBron James here for that? Or is he here to go Hollywood? Yeah. Those are the kind of questions that are being asked about him. So when you hear about him sitting down or minutes restrictions or what have you, it's not whether he plays or not or how much he plays. It's where his interest lies and what level of passion he has for this basketball franchise. They don't care about what he did in Cleveland. They don't care about what he did in Miami. They care about what he does here and what his commitment is to the Lakers. I don't think it's right to question him. He's earned the right for us to think better than that.
Sure.
But Laker Nation doesn't care. They never cared before, and they don't care now.
And body language, though, throughout the tough times this season has been a little different than we've seen in past seasons. So I think it's a fair question right now. We'll see how this plays out as the Lakers host the Celtics tomorrow night on ABC. And Stephen A. Smith, I know you'll be there. Enjoy. Still to come on International Women's Day, Steph Curry answers the call for one of his biggest fans, a young lady, ahead of their big game tonight against the Nuggets. Straight game. Big game, too, at Houston. This will come 2 days after losing a close one in Chicago, as they currently sit 4th in the Eastern Conference, a half a game behind Indiana. Tight standings there. That left knee still sore. Here's head coach Brett Brown today.
He's had some good workouts back in Philadelphia. We think that his knee is getting stronger. His spirits are great. You know, he sees how much he has missed. What that means in relation to his return, I don't know. What I can say is he's right on track in regards to getting stronger and having the knee feel better.
And Doris Burke is on the call for Sixers Rockets, 8 Eastern here on ESPN. And Doris, you were on the show Wednesday when Embiid missed his 7th straight game, and Philly goes on to get blown out by Chicago, beaten badly in the paint. he said, as you know, that he could play if necessary. And frankly, these games are big because of playoff seeding right now. What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, they had an opportunity, had they won that Chicago game, to be in third place by themselves. But Robin Lopez and Chicago went right to work on the interior. There's no question they're missing him, that these games are critical. But I do believe that the right thing for Joel Embiid is to be healthy come playoff time, because he is their focal point. He does such damage in the post, one of the best in the league. But the reality is this, Sage, the longer this goes on, the more concerning it is to me, because you start to wonder about long-term health and viability when things really turn up in the playoffs.
Yeah, especially, again, with the importance of these games as the standings go back and forth, really. Meantime, Houston playing its best basketball of the season, 6 straight wins, hottest team in the NBA. What has been the key in your mind?
Well, I think many things, to be perfectly honest with you. If you think back to their success a season ago, there were a number of ingredients. The focal point are these two men. And for me, Chris Paul has got to be the Hall of Fame point guard he has spent his career becoming. And I mean that both as a knockdown three-point shooter and as a terrific setup guy. Let's remember, this team is shooting threes at an historic rate, and nobody better than Chris Paul to deliver it. But to me, obviously, you're still looking at a ton of James Harden. I would like to see Clint Capella's offensive numbers go up just a little bit to the pre-injury, but they've got all the answers of late anyway.
Yeah, again, to your point about Chris Paul, though, I feel like this has to be the year for him. He has got to stay healthy, or else you know what we're all going to start hearing. Doris Burke live from Houston. Enjoy the game tonight, 8 Eastern, here on ESPN.
Thank you, Sage.